Ouchy Peachy Therapies and welcome back to my channel. On today's video I'm going to be going through a treat order that I've done and also look at some treats that I picked up from the local, is it Jollies or Jollies? I think it's Jollies. So these are the treats that I picked up from Jollies. These are Nature's Menu treats. So I picked up one of each protein and I wanted to basically have a look at them all. So this is their freeze-dried range. So this is beef, chicken, turkey and lamb bites. Now Nature's Menu have had a stronghold in the raw feeding industry for a very, very long time, and it's likely this brand that you'll see pop up in your smaller pet shops as their dedicated raw brand that they have in store. They do a really big variety, so they've obviously got the treat section. They do wet tinned food, which I think I've already done a video about. They also do raw nuggets. They do raw like whole prey pieces like chicken wings and duck necks and things like that. But specifically today I'm going to be looking at the treats. So these ones I got from Jollies. I think they were like £1.50 each, maybe, but it is 100% freeze-dried meat, single source protein, so it's really good for your dogs that are struggling with protein intolerances. And then I have this. Now, I ordered this at a show because it was like 40% off your first order and then you get 10% off for life or something like that. So I was like, well, yeah, I could do with getting some sweetie treaties in. So let's have a look. Okay. Handle any dry ice with care. Well, it's just treats. So, okay. First thing I'd say is that the box is about half full. So I'm a little bit disappointed that they don't have smaller boxes, just from a packaging point of view and environmental point of view, but it's not the end of the world. I don't know what this means. What is this? Scary spooky code on them, but let's have a look and see what I ordered. Now these were definitely free, I think, or one of them was free. So these are Superfood bars. They're duck with carrot and pumpkin seed. So I'll show you everything that I've got and then we'll open them up and have a look. The Meaty Treats, this is lamb, chicken and pork. I've used these literally for years. They're super high quality, super high value. Lamb, chicken and pork. We've got beef and pork, chicken and pork, more chicken and pork, lamb, chicken and pork, lamb, chicken and pork. Oh no, chicken and pork this time. Beef and pork. That I'm just going to chuck across the room apparently. Chicken and pork, beef and pork, lamb, chicken and pork, beef and pork. Oh, Superfood bars, they're the same ones, they're duck, beef and pork, and then I've got beef with spinach and quinoa. Now, I'm sure these used to come in like taller packaging. Now, I know for certain that, especially say the beef, it would just say beef meaty treats, but they've actually included the pork on the front of it now, which I'm really impressed about. So let me move my desk forward and then, oh dear. So if you need single source protein stuff, you've got the raw freeze dried. That is 100, well this one's chicken, so this is 100% chicken. Now these treats, these are like your semi-moist treats, but I'll get some out so we can have a look at them. So the ingredients of this, so this is 50% pork and 45%, 50% beef, 45% pork, and then you've got derivatives of vegetable origin and minerals. So that'll be stuff used to bind the treats together, but I'll show you what I mean when I have a look at them. So all of this, minus these freeze-dried bits, I think it was like 25 quid including postage and packaging, which I didn't think is too bad. And the joy with these treats, because my dogs are so small, you can break them into 4 pieces, so these are going to last me a while. So let's let's open them up and have a look and see what scare is. Okay, so I have got one of each. This isn't the full Nature's Menu range, but this is one of each of everything that I've got. So I'm going to go through each packet, talk about the ingredients, we'll have a little look at them, and then we can, well, compare them all, and maybe I'll pick a top contender. So if we start, we'll start down here. This is the raw freeze-dried chicken bites. How to feed, give up to 5 pieces per day. So I know that they have a mixer range, and their mix is like a topper range, and these freeze-dried bits of meat are in there. So I will just open this packet up. So on the back it says our raw freeze-dried bites have been crafted with the same high quality and care as our frozen range, freeze-dried to lock in nutrients in the most convenient way. What is freeze-dried? Raw with no thaw. Freeze-drying removes almost all of the water content without cooking, whilst locking in nutrients and flavour, remaining as natural as possible. So let's have a look. So these packets aren't resealable, but are they moist? The Meaty Treat ones are, so the semi-moist. So this is, so if that's my thumb, that's how big a piece is. It breaks off really nicely. You could even get it smaller than that. I wouldn't say they're overly, I mean, they smell meaty if I like stick them near my face, but they're not overly meaty. But that's the chicken one, and that is a single bit. The texture's almost like I don't know how to do it. It's like crumbly, so you can see here I'm like able to crumble the chicken pieces. I know that the dogs like these already. They will like literally everything in this range, but that is what the chicken looks like. So let's take a look at the turkey bites. Same thing, except these are 100% turkey. Let's have a look. Okay. I like as well that the colour palette changes depending on the protein. I think that's really important, especially if you have dogs with food sensitivities. It just makes your life a little bit easier. So this is the turkey, again, about the size of my thumbnail, and these break up really nice and easily. So it's that. So you could crumble these up onto a licky mat. Look, I can literally turn them into dust, or they do hold their shape. And you can give us little training treats there. Colour wise, the turkey is pretty much the same as the chicken, which I wouldn't, I'm not surprised by that. Be interesting to see what the beef is like. So now I'm going to do the 100% beef bites, and we'll take a little look at them. Okay, so this is the beef, again, about the size of my thumbnail. Ooh, this one's firmer. Okay, so I can't break it as easy as I did the chicken. It could be the density of the protein maybe. So the beef one doesn't crumble as well, but it depends what you're feeding the treats for. You're feeding the treats to sprinkle onto enrichment, then so far the chicken and the turkey would be better. Or you're wanting to use it as small rewards whilst you're training, then the beef might be more suitable. Smell wise, that is very meaty. I can smell that from here without having to stick it up to my nose. So that's the beef. You can see it is darker in colour, so I'll just compare it with, so this is the turkey and then this is the beef. So you can see that the beef is a lot darker as well. So we'll have a look at the lamb. So again, 100% lamb, same recommendations on the back. Okay. So this is the lamb piece, again, same size as my nail. That one's breaking up really nice and easy. Let's see if we can crumble it. Yeah, that crumbles really nice and easy into a dust. Do you know what? The smell of these, I used to use these for puppy training for mine, and it's just taken me back to when I used to use these treats for puppy training. So that is, you might not be able to pick it up on the camera, so the lamb is darker in colour than, say, the turkey or the chicken, but it's not as dark as the beef. I think out of all of those four, the lamb smells the strongest to me. The chicken doesn't smell as strong, but treat wise, if you wanted to break the treats up, I'd say that beef is the hardest to do, so it holds itself really well. And crumbly wise, so far I think I'll thaw this one out. The lamb's crumbled into into a dust, whereas these ones, they do crumble, but they're not crumbling like the lamb does. So those are the freeze-dried ones. So let's have a look at the meaty treats. So we'll start off with the beef and pork. Now these bags are different. I think those are 15 kg and these are 50 kg. So there is a lot more. Sorry, let me show you on one, you can actually see it. So there is, the packet's near enough the same size, but there's more treats in here. But because they're semi-moist, they are going to have more weight to them. But also with this packet, it is resealable. Okay, so these are the ones that I've used in clinic for years. You can straight away, I can smell that. Straight away, I can smell that. So let's have a look. Okay, so it's got the, I don't know what you'd call it. It's not a Ziploc, it's a niplock bag. So let's have a look. Okay, that's two together, so that one doesn't count. So size wise, it is bigger than my thumbnail, just a little bit. With these though, I can smell these straight away. Really strong, high value meaty treats with that 95% beef and pork. They're really super soft, so they're breaking up really easy. I find that these are super high value. I used to exclusively only train with these treats. So I'm able to tear it up. It's a little bit of a lighter colour on the inside than the outside. Kind of turn it into a dust. You can, but I don't tend to, I prefer to use those for like the freeze-dried ones for sprinkling onto lick mats rather than the meaty treats. These meaty treats are so high value, like they're super duper high value. I mean, I'm not filming here with dogs today, but if I was, like, they would just be all over it because they've had everything from this range, but they really do like the meaty treats. So that's how far I've managed to make one treat go. God, that smells so strong. Right, okay, let's move on to the 95% chicken and pork. Again, we've got the resealable bag. So these ones are strong, but they're not as strong as the beef so far. So this is chicken and pork. Again, that is bigger than my thumbnail. So let's have a look. And I always find, so you can see there's like a little ridge down the treat. You can split the treat in two really easily using that ridge, or literally I am just nipping and pulling these apart. This isn't crumbling as easy as the other side. Let me see if I can. I can crumble it once I kind of get into the middle, but the beef definitely seemed easier to crumble. But I've made, well, first of all, I've made a mess, but secondly, I've made that one treat go quite far. They smell super duper strong. Okay, next up on the meaty treats, we've got lamb, chicken and pork. It's very handy having the resealable section on them. Very, very handy. Let's have a look. Okay. It says, our classic recipes are made with 95% Chicken, lamb and pork, an irresistible reward for dogs made from a meaty blend of chicken, lamb and pork, a recipe that contains no gluten, no artificial flavours or colours, and comes in a handy resealable pack. There used to be a time that you would always find a half-used pack of these knocking around in my dog walking jacket. I don't know why I stopped getting them. I don't know, maybe it was because I started shopping somewhere else, but if these, well, I know that these, they do, because of the price point, it's just so easy to just pick up a pack when you're at the till, when you're in the pet shop. So we've got the ridge down the middle here, but also you'll get a ridge in the middle there. So you can use that to break. So let's have a look. This one's a little bit tougher to split. It's not taxing or anything, but it's just a little bit tougher. And then let's see how we crumble. Oh, not crumbling as easily, you know. Are we getting there? Yeah, these ones don't like to crumble as much. These hold their shape really well. So if you were using the meaty, if you were using the meaty treats for enrichment, I'd say the most crumbly one was chicken and pork, but the one that's going to hold its shape the best is the lamb, chicken and pork out of those. But honestly, these are so super duper high value. I'd be using these for training. So my hands do feel a little bit greasy, not overly greasy to say that I've just been sat playing with these treats. You get no grease on your hand from the freeze dried. These are a little bit greasy because they've got the, because they're semi-moist. Okay, so let's have a look at the Superfood bars. So this one is duck with carrot and pumpkin seeds. Again, we've got a really nice resealable pack at the top. So it's 62% duck, pea protein, vegetable glycerin, pumpkin seeds 4%, distilled white vinegar, salt, dried carrot, fennel seeds, orange zest, turmeric, ground ginger. And yeah, so these are nutritious, air dried. Why are you not? To be fair, this isn't a slight on the packaging. I am really rubbish at opening these things. Do you know what? I'm just going to use my scissors. Just going to use my scissors. Because it's right on the line of that resealable bit, and my hands are a little bit oily. So these are nutritious air-dried bars made with succulent duck cuts, natural blends of carrots and pumpkin seeds for a nutritious and rich in protein snack. Have I cut that? I've cut it and I've not even opened it, I don't think. God almighty. Here we go. Right. Gently air-dried to lock in all the goodness and flavour from our ingredients. Quality meat, fruit and veg blended with superfoods and gently oven cooked to retain the goodness and flavour, suitable to feed from 4 months onwards. This is a 70 gram pack, so for size this is longer, a little bit longer than my thumb, so these would be a really sweet little snack for puppies, but just as a nutritious one for your dogs, to be honest. You can see here on the back they've got like the grid marking, so that's where it's been cooked, but that also makes it easier to break up into small pieces. So you see here, I'm going along the grid, I can break it up into tiny, tiny little pieces if I wanted to. I'll put them there. To be honest, the way that I'd feed these to my dogs is I'd maybe split it into 3, and then they can all have a bit each, because they do get a lot of treats throughout the day, so I'm very mindful about the size of the treats that they get. Smell-wise, I can really smell the pumpkin. I think I can smell the vegetable content in it. But I could even break that up into smaller diddy pieces if I wanted to. So I have a whole pile of treats that I can be using for training or whatever. And then in a pack, oh that's nice. You can see a whole pumpkin seed in there, so that's good. That's good. I'm going to see actually how small I can break this up into. I'm trying to do it into the little cubes. But these are really good for, you know, if you're wanting to use it, you know, with like, what do you call it, the inside of a toilet roll, the cardboard tube, just put a couple of these in, squash the ends of your cardboard tube and you're well away. I could keep going, but you get in the gist. Like, you get a lot out of those. So in a pack, so this is a 70-gram pack. I'm going to count how many's in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you get 8. You get 8 in a pack. So it'd be interesting to see if the other flavour also has 8 in the pack. So that's the duck one. So let's have a look at the beef one. I've just got all Nature's Menu green branding all over the place. Just put that over there. Okay. I can really smell, like, I think it's the pumpkin I can smell. Or is it the pea? I can smell the peas probably, not the pumpkin. Okay, so this is beef with spinach and quinoa. So I'm gonna open this pack. These packets are different. They used to be different packaging. I think I used to just open them with my teeth because I'm a savage. Right, let's have a look. Okay. Oh, so these are, you can tell these are beef. These are a lot darker in colour. And I don't know if they're a bit, I think they're a little bit smaller than the other ones. Let me just get these out. They've definitely got a different texture to them. So this is the duck and this is the beef. So you can see there is a size difference there. The beef here, that feels a lot more dense compared to the duck. So you've got those ones there. So you can see there is a size difference there. Okay, so this is 75% beef, vegetable glycerin, pea protein, quinoa, distilled white vinegar, salt, guiacum, dried spinach, red beet, flaxseed, dried sweet potato, orange zest. Okay. So these ones, because they are denser, they also feel a lot harder compared to the duck ones. They were quite soft when I was touching them. This is quite difficult to break up, but again, it depends on what you what are you feeding the treat for. But you can see the seeds in there. I believe that's the quinoa. Yeah, these are definitely firmer. A little bit drier than the duck. Not as greasy as the duck either. Okay. So let's have a look and see how many we've got in here. So we had 8 in this packet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Let's see if I have 9, 10, 11. So you've got 11 and a half there. 11 and a half pieces. So with the beef, you get more of these. Obviously, they're both the same weight, so these are both 70 kg, but you get more bars because they're smaller, and they're more dense. I think out of the two, probably because the duck, it feels more oily, but let's have a look, see what the fat content is. So this is 26% fat, crude fat. This is 24% crude fat. Let me have a look, because for doggies that have got or suffer with pancreatitis, that's not going to be ideal. Let's have a look. Where is these will be quite high, I reckon. Oh, 20% fat for the lamb, chicken and pork. The chicken and pork, I reckon this might be a bit less. Is that crude? No, that's 20%. 20%. Again, when you have your semi-moist treats, they are going to be higher in fat. I wonder what these are. These should be a lot less. It's crude fat 49%. With the chicken. Am I getting this wrong? Well, I'm reading off the back of it. 46%, 44% with the turkey, and then 100% lamb bites. These will definitely be high in fat, I reckon. 41%. That's crude fat though, so it's different to when say you're feeding raw and you have to stick with the 10% fat. What I would say for there's other brands that you can feed like your pancreatic dog. However, that's not surprising. These are treats, okay, that we're dealing with. So the fat content is going to be high, but it's just something to be mindful of if you have a dog that is struggling with their body condition. So that is the whole range that I have anyway. I'd say out of all of them, I think probably the lamb, chicken and pork meaty treats would probably be my dog's favourite. The reason that I like these, so the positive of these, single source protein, big win. The downside would be that it's not in a resealable bag. The reason that I really like these, they are super high value treats, really high value. I've used them in training a lot. The downside is, another plus side is that it's a resealable bag. The downside is that it's not single source protein. With the Superfood bars, I would say the good point about them is, well, they're just really sweet and they've got the superfoods in them. The downside, what's the downside to you? Let's have a look at that's 26% fat, that's 24% fat. So it is still quite high. What's the feeding recommendation? 1 treat per 10 kg body weight per day. Adjust the quantity of the main meal to keep your pet in a lean, healthy condition. Not suitable for puppies under 4 months. Dogs should be supervised at all times. So the upside of these is the superfoods and the ingredients that go into them. The downside, I can't actually think of one for these. Maybe that they don't break up into small enough bits if you were using them as training treats. You can break them up, and I have broke them up, but they're not as easy to break down as the other ones. Folks, that is the lowdown on my Nature's Menu treat haul. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. But for now, lots of love to you and your dogs. Take care, bye.